Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you on 23rd RAEX Sustainability webinar. This webinar is quite special. We are switching from Russian language to English, and the future RAEX Sustainability webinars will be depending on topic in English or in Russian. We will mention the forthcoming topics a little bit later. The audience is gathering up a little bit, and we will be starting shortly. Before that, some housekeeping notes. If in case you cannot see or cannot hear well, please write into the chat. Feel free to put your questions in the chat, or in case you would like to ask a question verbally, put a yes sticker and we will ask you. So the topic of the webinar today is sustainability in Georgia, sustainable finance. We have a lot of very interesting guests. We have Salome Tvalodze, head of Macrofinancial Modeling and Analysis Division, Financial Stability Department of the National Bank of Georgia. Ioseb Rostomashvili, head of Environmental and Social Risk Management Group, TBC Bank. Anna Getsadze, head of Green Products and Programs, Financial Inclusion Organization, Crystal. And Ketevan Kekelashvili, Head of Environmental Management in ProCredit Bank Georgia. So we'll start with a short presentation from RAEX-Europe and then switch to our guest speakers. For those of you who do not know about us, I will briefly let you know. So RAEX-Europe, we are a credit rating agency based in Frankfurt. We are registered by the European Security Market Authority as a credit rating agency, and we have ECAI status. So all our credit ratings can be used for European regulatory purposes. Besides classic credit ratings, we are very active in sustainability services, about which I will tell you a little bit later. We have foreign partners in China and the Middle East, and we are members of a number of sustainable European initiatives, UNPRI and LuxFlag, and recently we supported Principles for Responsible Banking and TCFD. So this slide shows you briefly our sustainability services. They go along two main lines. The first line is ESG related services, and the second line is second opinion related to green bonds and loans. From ESG, we have ESG ratings and ESG rankings. We launched this year a very important initiative, ESG database for serious and Black Sea region companies. We started with Russian companies and currently we have 37 of them, but we are expanding the database rapidly and soon we'll have a wide call for feedback from companies who want to be included in the database. Second opinion services we provide to green bonds, social bonds, sustainable bonds, green loans, and sustainability-linked bonds and loans. Vladimir, my colleague, will tell a little bit in more detail about those services and why you need them. Vladimir, can you switch on the microphone?
Thank you very much, Svetlana. Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Vladimir Gorchakov. I am Associate Director in RAEX-Europe, representative of the rating service. I hope you can hear me well. In any problems, please use chat. So going forward regarding our services, so we, as Svetlana mentioned, we issue ESG ratings and rankings. All these materials, this presentation will be shared with all participants, and we will definitely can answer your questions. But I would like to focus on three main topics. So the ESG ratings and rankings are becoming very important instrument for the investors, especially on the emerging markets, since more and more investors, global associations focus on the ESG topics, and therefore we provide these services for our targeted markets, including Georgia, which is ESG Rating Pro, and this is the comprehensive ESG assessment with extended ESG report. Also, as mentioned by Svetlana, sustainable green social loans and bonds also becoming very important sustainable product popular among different investors. And in this area, we are providing the service of verification, which is the best market practices globally as for now. And finally, for the investors and the companies wanting to be participated in the ESG universe, we started to provide the ESG rating reports database services. And as Svetlana mentioned, that's we started with a Russian company, but until the end of the year, this database will be expanded to all CIS and Black Sea countries. So, saying that, I would like to highlight why we basically start organizing these webinars in these particular markets. Here you can see our sovereign credit rating list. So as being the classical credit rating agency, we are assigning the credit ratings as well in order to assess the credit risk within each country. And you see that we have list of all countries from the region, including Georgia, which was recently confirmed with BB, both in national and foreign currency. And just in 1.5 weeks, we will have the revision of credit rating of Georgia. Focusing on these markets, we decided to make the screening of green and responsible finance practices in all these countries. So how we did this? So we took the 4 areas: the stock exchange, the activity of the central bank, issuing of green bonds, and the activity of commercial banks. Within each of the area, we use different sources, such as Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative, Central Bank's Network for the Greening Financial System, ICMA and Climate Bond Initiative databases, as well as the Principle for Responsible Banking. Here you can see the results of our screening. As you see, Georgia is actually one of the most developed market in these terms. So we analyze the activity of stock exchange. You see that's already 5 exchanges joined the initiative. The green bonds labeled by ICMA or CBI already issued in Georgia, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Ukraine. Central Bank, which joined the initiative on NGFC, is Armenia, Georgia, and Russia, and almost all countries show some activity in green loans, sustainable loans, or green initiative of the development banks. However, I would like to mention that only banks from Russia and Ukraine joined the Principles for Responsible Banking initiative, which is a new initiative, and we would like to promote as a rating agency this initiative as well, and we can share materials from our previous webinars. So saying that, we would like to highlight activity in Georgia. So unfortunately, the Georgian Stock Exchange so far didn't join the initiative of sustainable stock exchanges. While we very welcome the activity of the Central Bank of National Bank of Georgia, which already joined the NGFC in April 2020 and has been a member of Sustainable Banking Network since 2017 and have different documents, and I hope Ms. Tvalodze will share the experience with us deeper. Also, we would like to highlight that within all 3 countries from Caucasus region, only Georgia has so far the labeled green bonds, which was issued in July 2020 by Capital PLC, which is the company affiliated with one of the largest utilities service company operating in cities of Georgia. And many banks joined the initiatives of the international financial institutions. Some of these financial institutions are represented on our today webinar, but unfortunately no signatures of Principles for Responsible Banking so far. We can compare also this with the Russian market. Definitely, we know that there is already the sustainability sector on the MOEX stock exchange. There are two stock indexes, and the stock exchange itself also already issued the sustainability report. So far, in terms of the volume of issuers and market volume, the green bonds of Russian Federation, they're the issued from the entities from the Russia, that's the largest one. First of all, there are already at least one issuer on the international market, the Russian Railways. And as of September, 4 green bonds issuers on the MOEX own sustainability sector. So this is local green bonds. So 7 issues with overall volume around 11 billions of rubles. And also, we definitely can share the experience of Russian Central Bank. They have the working group for responsible financing. They joined the NGFC in December, and they already issued different very interesting reports. And 2 commercial banks from this country joined the Principles for Responsible Banking Initiative. And one of them, even more, Sovcombank, is the funding signatory. So joined the initiative in early stage. Briefly about Belarus and Ukraine. So far, we see only the confirmation from the Belarusian Stock Exchange, which is partner of CCI from March. However, the rest, we have to mention that no green bonds or no specific confirmed initiative from the National Bank of Belarus. There is some discussion internally, but they didn't proceed further. And some green loans product issued by local banks, including the bank which is affiliated with the Bank of Georgia, so Белорусский Народный Bank. And Ukraine. This is actually also very interesting market since just recently in August, the National Securities and Stock Market Commission of Ukraine joined the Sustainable Banking Network and even joined the association with IFC to build the sustainable finance in Ukraine. So far, we didn't see any documents. It's just an announcement, but we hope to see them by end of the year. And before 2014, it was a draft roadmap for development of a green finance in Ukraine, but it was not confirmed. And as I mentioned at the beginning, Ukraine is very interesting as a country where the green bonds was issued. It was Eurobond, so issued on the Irish Stock Exchange. The issuer is the Tech Renewables. It's a branch of large renewable energy holding the tech from Ukraine. And there is a signatory of Principles of Responsible Banking, Ukrgazbank, and I hope we will have at some point a webinar with our colleagues from Ukraine as well. And going to the Central Asia, so most certainly one of the most interesting market here is Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan Stock Exchange is a partner of CC since 2015, but we need to mention that Astana International Financial Center is the main stakeholder of overall green and sustainable finance development in this country. And that's why National Bank of Kazakhstan is not very active. And even the first green bonds from Kazakhstan was issued locally by Damu International Development Fund, but also with the support of Astana International Financial Center. And we already had one webinar with colleagues from Kazakhstan before and hope to have another webinar on November. And just briefly about other countries. So for Uzbekistan, only few things we need to mention, and that's so far there is only announcement of potential green bonds combined with Sukuk, so Islamic finance, and some initiatives of local banks with GEF, which is the program of EBRD for the sustainable finance. While, for example, in the Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, almost all green finance initiatives involved the international financial institutions, which are donor support for this organization, while the local initiatives are quite limited so far. And few words about Armenia and Azerbaijan. So both stock exchanges from Armenia and Azerbaijan joined the Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative recently, so December last year and April this year, but so far they didn't develop any indexes or sectors. And Central Bank of Armenia joined the initiative of NGFC in February, also this year. Apart from this, there is no green bonds issuance. Only Ameriabank was discussing some green bond framework, but they didn't go further about the issuance. And some commercial banks from these countries involved in the international financial initiatives. So saying that, I go to the next slide and give a microphone to Svetlana, telling about some other initiative from our sides.
Thank you, Vladimir, for a good overview of CIS and Black Sea region practices. Before we go to the guest speakers, I wanted to mention a few other important initiatives of our rating agency. Last year, we held in Frankfurt the first international forum for responsible investments in CIS region, and that was a very good platform for pioneers of sustainable finance to exchange their experience with European investors, listen to the stakeholders, listen to the trendsetters such as ICMA and Climate Bond Initiative. We had over 100 participants, and it was a very interesting interactive conference. Due to COVID, we don't want to cancel the event. We go forward this year, have this event in online format and broaden the geography to include the Black Sea region as well. So we want to invite everyone to attend this online event too. It will have 3 sections. The first session would be focused on regulation, second to the practice issues, and the third one would be innovative workshop. It will be on 9th of December. Also, we wanted to tell you about the next webinars of our cycle. These slides are for you to check yourselves a bit later, the topics of a previous webinars. If somebody would like to see the presentations, we're happy to share them. And next webinars would be in Russian on Russian regulation on 30th of September and in English Lux Flag Sustainable Investment Week. I mentioned earlier that our agency is a member of a Lux Flag organization, and within the Sustainable Investment Week, which will be a whole week sustainability conference, we will have a very interesting webinar with HSBC Bank on the impact of ESG and fixed income portfolios performance. So this is also an event you can join on 13th of October. I forgot to mention the Telegram channel on news on sustainability. This is only for Russian speakers at the moment. So I'm switching to the first guest speaker for today, Salome Tvalodze, National Bank of Georgia. As Vladimir mentioned already, the National Bank of Georgia joined the network for greening financial systems, and Salome will tell us in more detail about it. Salome, you can start screen sharing now.
Thank you.
Questions to Salome can be put in chat, and also after the conference, you will receive the slides too.
Yes, Svetlana, thank you very much for the introduction. I also would like to thank you very much for expressing your interest in sustainable finance development in Georgia and organizing this webinar. It's really an honor to be the speaker at this event. So today I want to talk about sustainable finance development in Georgia, why we decided to develop sustainable finance framework, and what are the key steps we have already implemented. Discuss the main challenges we have faced so far and briefly talk about future plans in this regard. I also want to mention that I will concentrate more from central bank's perspective, and I want to talk about private sector experience and achievements. Since today we have representatives from financial institutions, and I will leave up to them to share their experience with us. Before moving to sustainable finance framework, I want to very briefly mention some of the characteristics of the financial sector in Georgia, because this was one of the factors we took into account when designing our sustainable finance framework. The financial system in Georgia is dominated by commercial banks, as they hold almost 95% of all assets in the financial sector, and the concentration among the commercial banks is also very high, with the two largest accounting for around 70% of total assets. Microfinance institutions, even though their share is very small, play an important role, especially for financing SMEs and access to finance in the regions. As for the insurance market, it has been developing quite rapidly in recent years. However, their share in the financial market is still very low. As for the capital market, throughout the past few years, the local debt securities market has expanded significantly, and the government and corporate debt securities market increased by approximately 14%. Moreover, the MBG and the government of Georgia are currently working on the approximation of regulatory principles to those of the EU. However, despite some progress, capital market is still at early stage of development in Georgia. To move to as for the sustainable finance framework. So, given the specifics of Georgian financial system, our framework is mainly focused on commercial banks. However, we always encourage other financial institutions and non-financial entities to follow our recommendations and guidelines. It's becoming more common to incorporate environmental and social sustainability in the central bank's policies in order to ensure financial stability in the long run and to support sustainable growth. We at the National Bank of Georgia understand that with the increasing environmental, social, and sustainability issues, the size of investments needed to address these issues is very important, and issues of the financial system can play a major role in sustainable development. And I am proud to announce that the NMBG was one of the first organizations in the region to take the initiative and make first steps towards the sustainable finance development. Our journey towards sustainable finance development started exactly 3 years ago when we joined the Sustainable Banking Network, SBN, in 2017. By joining the SBN, we have expressed our willingness and commitment to support sustainable finance development in Georgia. Since then, the MBG, in close cooperation with IFC, SBN, and other international organizations, have been working to develop sustainable finance framework in Georgia. The key milestone in this process was the launch of Sustainable Finance Roadmap for Georgia. The roadmap summarizes all the possible actions the MBG plans to implement in this regard with the corresponding time frame. The roadmap serves several purposes. It informs the market about the regulators' future steps regarding sustainable finance and prepares the market for transitioning to sustainable finance. Also, it supports incorporation of sustainability issues into decision-making process by providing coherent and consistent actions and allowing time for the system to adapt. By creating the roadmap, on the one hand, it was like to inform the market about our future steps, and on the other hand, it was like a creation of to-do list for us. The Sustainable Finance Roadmap consists of 4 main pillars. First one is about increasing awareness, providing guidance, and building the capacity of the market on sustainable finance. The second pillar is about driving more capital flows towards sustainable sectors and investments to achieve green and socially inclusive economy. As for the third pillar, it's about integrating ESG management into risk assessment processes and frameworks of financial institutions and corporations. And the last one is about ensuring greater transparency through minimum ESG disclosure requirements for commercial banks and corporations. So this is a summary of the actions we have planned for 2019 to 2022 under each pillar. So let me describe each pillar separately. So first one is about, as I mentioned, is about increasing awareness and capacity building. One of the main obstacles for creating sustainable financial system is short-termism, since it creates pressure on financial institutions and companies to concentrate on short-term financial performance. This is a common problem in all countries. However, the issue is even severe in developing countries, where entities tend to be more short-term oriented with less attention paid to the strategy, fundamentals, and long-term value creation. This can result into mispriced risks and missed opportunities. Therefore, the role of central banks is very important in raising awareness about long-term risks and ensuring that financial sector can assess and evaluate those kind of risks properly. So that's why we decided that the first pillar to be about increasing awareness and capacity building. As for the actions we have already taken, NBG in cooperation with private sector translated ICMA Green, Social and Sustainability Bond Principles, and the Georgian version is now available on the ICMA website. It was one of the very first steps that NBG took to develop sustainable finance framework. And this served two purposes. First, the first purpose was to increase the awareness locally, and second was to signal international investors about Georgia's interest in development of sustainable finance. Next one, with the awareness rising in mind, the NBG in collaboration with IFC and SPN has organized the Sustainable Finance Conferences in 2018 and 19. The NBG has agreed to make this conference annual as it creates a great opportunity for discussing the ongoing challenges regarding the sustainable finance, sharing the experience and getting the feedback and insight from the experts on the field. We plan to host next Sustainable Finance Conference this November, at the end of the November. The exact date we will decide later, and we'll send the invitations to all of you. I also want to mention that successful implementation of the roadmap requires active involvement of various stakeholders. The NBG has created Sustainable Finance Working Group. The members of the working group are the NBG's representatives and the heads of relevant units of financial institutions. The working group is meeting on a regular basis to share the ongoing progress in terms of sustainable finance, discuss the related challenges, and give feedback on the actions planned by the NBG. Besides organizing the conferences locally, NBG is actively participating in different sustainability finance conferences organized worldwide in order to gain further knowledge and also to share its experience with the stakeholders. I want to mention that increasing awareness and capacity building is an ongoing process. It's not something that you can do once and be done. And this is especially true for sustainable finance, since it is still a relatively new field that is evolving constantly. So it is very important to stay up to date with ongoing development both in the private and public sector. So to move on the second pillar, which is about sustainable financial flows. Guiding investment towards more sustainable projects can be quite challenging in any country, and the characteristics of the Georgian economy does not make this process easier. Georgia's current capital market, as I mentioned before, is underdeveloped and small. So that makes the top-down approach to sustainable finance flows more suitable for Georgian market. Another challenge lies into not having homogeneous definition of the sustainability, and this is a problem worldwide, not only for Georgia. The financial institutions are all at the different stages of development in terms of sustainable finance. Those financial institutions that are more advanced are using various different definitions of sustainability. Therefore, it is essential to develop a common taxonomy that will be consistent with the international best practices like EU taxonomy, but at the same time will incorporate the specifics of Georgian financial system. So currently we are working with SBNRC to develop sustainable finance taxonomy for Georgia, and in this process, involvement of private sector representatives and sustainable finance working group is really important. As for the future steps, central bank's involvement, I want to mention that central bank's involvement in the development of sustainable finance is a relatively new phenomenon. Even the most advanced central banks do not have a clear view which regulations or incentives are the best to support sustainable finance development. Therefore, exploring different options for incentives and regulations that would stimulate sustainable finance flows is an important step in this journey, and therefore it is part of the roadmap. Now let me move to the next pillar, which is ESG risk management. As I already mentioned, it is very important that financial institutions price risks stemming from sustainability issues properly. With this in mind, we integrated ESG factors in corporate codes for capital market and commercial banks. So, corporate code now includes ESG states that ESG considerations must be part of the entity strategy. ESG risks should be incorporated in the risk management system, and also it requires entities to disclose ESG-related information. To support this process of proper ESG risk management, MBG plans to develop an ESG risk management guidance that would make ESG risk assessment consistent and comparable across financial institutions. It will also ensure proper integration of ESG risk into decision-making of financial institutions. And last pillar is about transparency. Transparency and access to the proper data is another major challenge that both regulators and other market participants, including investors, are facing worldwide. Disclosure is very important for monitoring and evaluation of sustainable finance development as well. To tackle this challenge, minimum ESG requirements have been set in the CG codes for commercial banks and capital markets. The ESG disclosure requirements set by the CG code for commercial banks are already mandatory, and 2021 will be the first year when the commercial banks will be disclosing ESG information. To guide banks through this process and ensure that they are disclosing ESG information in a consistent and comparable manner, the MBG in cooperation with OECD has developed ESG disclosure and reporting principles with a corresponding template. So banks will fill this template in 2021, and the templates will be published on our website. So as for the future steps in this regard, MBG plans to implement progress measurement tools that would make it possible for financial institutions to track their progress and also inform stakeholders about their sustainability of financial institutions. So, to summarize, these are the main actions we have decided we are the most important and relevant ones to start developing sustainable finance framework in Georgia. These are mainly the basic but necessary steps without which we cannot move further. I also want to mention that while developing this action plan, we took into account the specifics of Georgian financial system, as well as limited resources that the MBG has, and the fact that we are at the early stage of development, sustainable finance development. As you can see, this is the plan for the next 2 or 3 years. As for the long-term plans, we hope that after we will implement all these actions and the sustainable finance market continues to develop further in Georgia, next roadmap will include more advanced ones. So to finish in a positive note, we are proud and happy that MBG's effort and progress has been recognized by others. In particular, for example, in 2019, Georgia has advanced 2 steps in SPN's 6 steps progression matrix. We moved from commitment to developing stage, and this was, and Georgia was one of only 7 countries to achieve such significant progress. So, thank you. This was all for your attention. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you for this wonderful presentation, Salome. It's our honor to show the development of National Bank of Georgia on our platform. Vladimir has sent to the chat a couple of links to the documents you mentioned, so everyone can read them in greater detail. Also in the chat, we have a useful link to SRI event Twitter account, which accumulates different events, including LuxFlex Sustainable Investment Week updates. So from a regulatory point of view, we'll now shift to the practitioner point of view, and we invite Ioseb Rostomashvili, Head of Environmental and Social Risk Management Group at TBC Bank. Ioseb?
Sorry, I guess there's one question.
Oops, sorry. When I started reading, there was still no question. So let's first answer the question. So the question, which international green taxonomies were observed used while developing Georgian green taxonomy?
Yeah, I want to mention that we are in the process of developing the taxonomy. So we reviewed all international taxonomies that has been developed so far. EU taxonomy is one of them. CBI taxonomy also another one we have looked at. Taxonomy developed by Mongolia is also a good example because it's like a taxonomy developed by a single country. So it's a good one to refer. So this, and we also looked at other taxonomies developed by private sector. So we reviewed, to say, almost all the taxonomies. And now we are in a process of adjusting and taking into account specifics of the Georgian financial sector to make it more relevant for us. Thank you.
Thank you for answering the question. Other questions to Salome and other speakers can also be sent at the end of the webinar. Yeah, so next speaker, Ioseb, microphone to you.
So thanks a lot. So thanks for giving me the floor to present our achievement with regards of environmental management system and sustainability approach. So let me present what we are doing and what is our development stage within the group. So my presentation consists of 3 parts. This is general TBC at a glance, who we are, our organizational structure of environmental management system, and forward-looking, of course. So generally, let me share you insights who we are. So again, we are the largest bank in Georgia. Actually, you can see here the main parameters and figures as of Q2 2020. So main financial highlights and key performance figures, let's say. I would like to highlight that we are a listed company on the London Stock Exchange in the premium segment, and we are consisted with the FTSE 250 and the member of the FTSE4Good index series. So as a, let's say, largest group, I would like to say that we are pioneer in launching the first neobank and customer-focused ecosystem in Georgia. And again, it should be mentioned that we are launching the next generation greenfield bank in Uzbekistan. Here on this slide, you can also see the let's say our market share, so network development and ratings from Fitch and Moody's, of course. As for the environmental management system, once again, I would like to highlight that with support of our stakeholders, shareholders, and especially our, let's say, partners, IFC and the BRD, we have developed environmental management system, and which is governed by the environmental management policy, which is based on 4 directions. Mainly, it is split in 2 directions. This is direct impact and indirect impact. And by, let's say, structuring according 4 pillars, we would like to create, and we created quite robust, let's say, structure. First of all, developing green measures internally due to the fact that we are, let's say, London listed company on the London Stock Exchange, and we have to control and improve our internal performance to disclose annually our CO2 emissions. Second pillar, however, it's indirect impact, but it is our core business activity. It is related with ENS, environmental social risk management during the lending. Third pillar is sustainable finance, mainly developing also green loan portfolio and guidelines. And of course, last but not least, it's quite crucial to have proper, let's say, reporting and proper disclosure for and structure for external communication. Next slides I will dedicate for each pillar, and let me start with internal measures. As I said, annually we have to disclose, and we are disclosing actually our GHG emissions coming from our business activities internally, let's say, according LC requirements, local London Stock Exchange requirements, by let's say disclosing according scope 1, 2, and 3. Actually, just to share briefly, to keep credibility and transparency, we do provide external verification by independent HSC companies. And now, currently, when I'm speaking regarding and presenting TBC Bank, I mean TBC Group PLC, all daughter companies would disclose all data from Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, and on the local market, or group member companies data, let's say. And currently we are in the process to expand environmental management system for all companies who is under our umbrella, let's say. For second pillar, I would like to share with you environmental and social risk management in lending. Again, as I said, with support of our partners and stakeholders, we developed quite robust ENS risk management, which is in place from 2012, and it is split according 5 main steps. Of course, first is screening against exclusion list, which is publicly available on our website. Then it comes with categorization, low, medium, and high /A category risk. Of course, compliance assessment, which is strictly follows IFC and EBRD's performance standard and performance requirements, including then proper defining the mitigation and control measures, and of course, lastly, finally, annual reporting and disclosure for interested parties, our stakeholders and shareholders. Again, let me share with you our categorization matrix. You can see here how it is, let's say, distributed. And again, I have to mention, it's our pleasure, and thanks to our partners, IFC, FMO, BRD, ADB, and DG, who supported us since developing the standards. And every year and on an annual basis, we are updating these procedures and making them more embedded in our lending processes. You know, it's not just separate part of our daily activities. It is embedded and let's say unified in our lending force financial analysis, to be on the same level, to once again emphasize how it is important for us to cover ESG, let's say, performance of our clients. For this perspective, for the, let's say, it's also one of the requirements of our partner IFIs. For all category A risk cases, we have hired external consultants to provide more holistic and more sophisticated analysis, ESG assessment. As for the sustainable finance, I would say that we are the largest bank with a sustainable portfolio on the market. And I would say you can see here that our sustainable portfolio mainly consists of renewable energy finance, considering the market specific in Georgia. It consists of hydropower plants financing, but again, the crucial part is dedicated for women in business and youth support. And what we are doing and what we are saying that we should be more, we should have more diversified portfolio in terms of energy efficiency, and we see this potential. So from this perspective, we have approached our partner GGF Finance in Motion, and under the European Union facility, EU for Energy Initiative, currently we provide local market research to create and set standard and define eligibility criteria for green lending. But of course, in this case, while creating, let's say, sustainable guidelines, finance guidelines, we do consider a roadmap of National Bank of Georgia, and to be in line also with strategy, ongoing standards, and regulatory requirements, of course. And finally, let me say that, as I mentioned, this is quite important to have proper communication channel. From this perspective, we dedicated Pillar 4 for disclosure and proper communication of our achievements. From this perspective, first steps, what we do, what we're proud of, we created our grievance mechanism, the specifically site which can be found on our webpage. We created, let's say, mechanism for addressing external E&S queries and concerns. So all interested parties, our stakeholders and shareholders, we can access the site, send us email, and specifically the special group, E&S group, is responsible for these issues. Again, E&S issues as sustainability was integrated in our regional business forums, what we provide with our partners. And it also gives us the sense that on the market, more and more on the daily basis, we see that our achievements and also recognition from independent parties. One of these good example can be shared this last year, let's say Meliora 2019. This is Georgia's Responsible Business Award, and TBC won prizes for green initiatives and best practice in CSR communication, let's say. One of the ongoing project is our first sustainability report on the TBC group level, which will be published soon, and it will be also assessed on our webpage. And I would say that due to all above mentioned activities, our ESG ratings are improving gradually, which can be also found this information details on our webpage in investor relationship site. And finally, let me sum up my presentation here. What we are saying and what we are looking for is that sustainability and EMS is integral part of our bank's and group's identity, let's say, which enables us to substantially improve and our internal and external performance. And once again, it reinforces the wider social responsibility positioning on the greenfield market as well. To ensure credibility of our system, we decided to certify our environmental management system according to ISO 40001, and I would say that we decided that, okay, even COVID started, we said, okay, what does not kill us makes us stronger, and we provided remotely. We launched this project, and I would say that we have covered successfully stage 2, and looking further now to host external international consultant to provide on-site visit to finalize the stage 2, and I do hope that we will receive soon ISO certification for our EMS. At this point, I would thank you for your attention, and in case of question, I will be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ioseb. We already have questions for you in the chat. The two questions actually relate to the same point of calculating CO2 emissions. Do you calculate only your bank's own activity CO2 emissions, for example, offices and other facilities, or you also calculate the CO2 emissions of your lending portfolio?
Good questions. Thanks a lot. So So far, what we started since 2016, we disclosed our CO2 emissions for our offices and our business activities, excluding lending. And this year, it will be first year when we disclose CO2 emissions for lending activities as well. Because, as I said, you should have in advance the quite robust and detailed guideline to calculate CO2. You should have and our, let's say, finance in motion now supports us to create this tool for CO2. As for the, let's say, internal one for London Stock Exchange, we have clearly defined, let's say, parameters, and let's say, according to the ICCP, we disclose this data. But for lending, we have not done yet. This year, it will be, let's say, the first project for.
Do you already have a methodology disclosed how you're planning to calculate this, or are you planning to disclose this methodology simultaneously?
Not yet. So this is on the implementation phase. This creating this green lending methodology and sustainable finance. It is like a draft version, but by the end of the year, we expected to have this quite detailed and complex, let's say, guidelines.
And the next question, does TBC have any green lending policy setting the percentage to be allocated to green lending?
So can you repeat, please?
Do you have a green lending policy? So a policy setting the percentage of lending which should be allocated to green lending projects?
Yeah, again, not yet. So we have experienced to creating sustainability portfolio. It is under, let's say, generally, briefly, it is part of our environmental policy, but we don't have separately green lending policy. We are in the process now to create. With support of to have this high credibility, with support of our partners, we are in the process to create this, as I said.
Sounds good. Looking forward to reading it. So we are moving towards the next speaker, Anna Getsadze, Head of Green Products and Programs, Financial Inclusion Organization, Crystal. Anna, we can already see your screen. Please make it to the full screen mode and switch on the microphone.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
And now the presentation is fine.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to participate in this interesting event. My name is Anna Getsadze. I've been working in the microfinance sector for more than 9 years now. Currently, I work at Crystal as a head of green products development. Financial inclusion organization Crystal is the biggest microfinance organization in Georgia, and the main goal of the company is to defeat poverty in the country by promoting entrepreneurship and enhancing access to financial resources. It is noteworthy that we have earned one of the highest social rating in the microfinance sector, A- by Macrofinancial. And even though I don't represent the environmental and social department, and will not be able to talk about it in detail, I will be focusing in the field of green financing. In my presentation, I still want to mention that we have integrated 6 out of the 17 SDGs in our company strategy, and green product development is one of the main priorities. That's the reason Crystal, with great enthusiasm, embarked on its green financing line in 2017 as part of the investment from Dutch Development Bank FMO. As FMO stipulated, a certain amount of investments should be directed toward green financing. By launching a green financing line, the organization is driven by the goal to inform the public about benefits of energy efficient and renewable energy products, and to raise awareness among customers and stir up a desire to purchase eco-friendly and renewable energy products, eco-friendly products with our loans or installment. With the help of the local energy efficiency center, we initially selected the green alternatives that would be relevant for Georgian market and for Crystal borrower. Here they are. Electric and hybrid cars, CNG system, solar water heater, drip irrigation system, energy efficient heating systems, renewable energy technologies, as I mentioned, solar water heater, and eco-friendly construction materials. The main challenge was low awareness about energy efficient and renewable energy products among employees as well as our customers. So we started with our employees and conducted introductory presentations branch by branch. It was followed by a training session developed especially for Crystal by Frankfurt School expert and energy efficiency center, and it was under technical assistance of FMO. And also to shape the attitude toward the green financing, employees also needed to be motivated. So we designed the incentive system, Green Olympics, where winners could receive various financial and non-financial incentives. To raise public awareness, we prepared information booklets for specific green products, and these booklets provide detailed information about benefits of green products, and we distribute it through our branches and sales managers. We organized also outdoor campaigns with green partners, green vendors in rural and urban district centers where only energy efficient products were presented. Customers had the opportunity to get information on various products and purchase energy efficient items on installment. Excuse me. And we also carried out the following interesting initiatives in order to promote green product and especially very interesting green alternative solar water heater. We captured an awareness raising video clip. To provide comprehensive information about the product, we recorded interviews with energy efficiency experts, 3 partner vendors who sell this product, and 2 customers of Crystal who use the product and have certain experience. The video was shared through social networks and it has English subtitles. So if you're interested in, you can see it here on YouTube channel of Crystal. The response to acute problem of deforestation in Georgia, as well as to raise customers' awareness, a mini project was implemented. It's a donation of briquettes and energy efficient stoves to clients, customers. We selected 2 partner companies from Crystal, from which we purchased Georgian-based energy efficient stoves and hazelnut briquettes. We gifted these products to 4 loyal clients from different regions of Georgia, where consumption of wood was high. We asked them to use the product for a while and after that share experience. We recorded both stages and the final videos were broadcast through Crystal's communication channels. This collected information and gained experience aroused a lot of interesting and positive feedback among both partners and the local government organization. And this video also has English subtitles if you're interested in. And one of the main factors for product development was the establishment of green partner network vendors who sells green products, effective communication with existing ones, and identification of new ones in order to support local businesses and entrepreneurs. Crystal has put focus on identifying and contracting partners who produce green products in Georgia. As a result of the activities carried out over the period of 2 years, the green financing portfolio has reached 70.7 million lari as of December 2019, and portfolio breakdown by products look as follows. And as you can see, the biggest share is energy efficient household appliances, up to 75%. This is partly due to the larger number of vendors. We have local installment managers, and another factor is the availability of online installment. And besides, consumers are more or less aware of these products. Having big numbers in green financing is great, but it is crucial for the company to measure environmental impact. So with the help of Frankfurt School and Energy Efficiency Center, we developed energy saving CO2 calculator, especially for Crystal, allowing us to make very rough estimates based on dispersed green alternatives. And as you can see, according to data 2018's green portfolio impact, we can see that energy savings are 2.5 million kilowatt, and spared CO2 emissions 355 tons. And for more, to better demonstrate, one tree can absorb 25 kilograms of CO2 per year. And by this example, we can say that the work done by Crystal is tantamount to the 14,000 trees. And we raised these figures in 2019 up to 17,000 trees. And what's happening now, given its strategic focus on energy efficient financing, Crystal obtained another funding in 2018 from Green for Growth Fund. Crystal is the first microfinance organization in Georgia to establish cooperation with this fund. And we are working on a larger marketing campaign, marketing project, Green Home. As finally, still challenges, still lack of information and low awareness in the country, lack of incentives from government for customers or for financial sector as well, and lack of vendors who sell or produce these products, and high cost prices of green products compared to other products. But Crystal continues to work on green product development despite the challenges, and we think it's part of our business and social legacy to take care of our environment and promote green products. That's all. Thank you. And
thank you very much, Anna. The question we have in chat to you is also very similar to the one for Ioseb on CO2 emissions, how you calculate them, and whether you have any guidelines for green lending portfolios. You touched briefly CO2, so maybe you will expand a little bit on this issue and where can users find the methodology for calculation.
Okay, I will start from CO2 calculator. It was developed, as I mentioned, from Energy Efficiency Center of Georgia, and this is mostly developed by baselines, very bad results from baselines compared to minimal like A+ technique. We can compare it, and it is very rough, and it needs a lot of information from our employees, which we are not gathering in detail. but we are calculating it very general, like for 100 square meter for each roofing system, and for transition from a very old car to a hybrid one. And this is the method of calculation. We mainly put numbers. I can share, and you can find these formulas in it also. And what about guidelines? Our guideline was from our investors. FMO has the list what was the eligible to finance and what was not. So it was our guideline, as well as from GGF side. We have specific products and we use GGF system Ioseb, where program allows us to put or not to put specific product or some project.
Thank you for answering this question. We have a few more questions to different speakers, which we'll save to the Q&A part at the end. And for now, we are moving to the last but not least, the next speaker, Ketevan Kekelashvili from ProCredit Bank Georgia. Ketevan, can you connect to us?
Hello to everybody. I will present ProCredit Bank Georgia. I will talk about environmental management and in general how we believe and why that environmental management is key in every business model to be successful. We'll talk with you about our experience and what we reached till now, what is our development path and what are our future plans in coming years. So briefly, key figures about the bank. As of end 2019, total assets of the banks were 470 million euros, and our portfolio, loan portfolio, stand at 340 million euros again. We are largely concentrated to support and to finance the business sector of the country. We are dedicated to provide all kinds of financial services to SME sector. That's why you can see here that 86% of our total loan portfolio comes from business clients. So out of which I can proudly say that 16% is our green loan portfolio, which is growing permanently. So portfolio quality in ProCredit Bank is very good. Credit impaired loans stands at 2.8%, but when it comes to loan portfolio quality in green finance, green lending, there we have impaired loans below 1%. So our deposit to loan ratio is 70%, and our shareholders actually, and its stable return on average equity is 14%. So when it comes to shareholders of the bank, the shareholder is ProCredit Holding, which is headquartered in Frankfurt, Germany, and we are a group of development-oriented banks currently present in 13 different countries, mostly in Southeastern and Eastern Europe. Georgia is among 13. We have very long experience in Georgia. ProCredit Bank operates in Georgian banking sector for 20 years already. So the group itself is listed in Frankfurt Stock Exchange Premium category starting from December 2016. When it comes to rating, country is ProCredit Bank Georgia has, according to Fitch, BB plus rating, which is highest possible rating available in the country and the highest rating in Georgian banking sector. So I want to share with you information related to our business model because we believe that we have very specific and unique approach to banking. And we believe that this is actually key of our success. So our business model is focused on economic development, and we truly believe that our contribution to develop societies, economies in countries we operate is very immense. Also, we have very transparent and well-established corporate governance in all our ProCredit institutions. Environmental management is key for many years already in our business model, and also we invest a lot in technology and innovation in order to provide a full range of banking products to our clients online via using the different channels in 24/7. So besides business model, our approach to clients and staff, our colleagues, is very special. When we are acquiring new clients, when we start partnership with them, we aim for long-term reliable communication and partnership with them. That's why we do very comprehensive, deep assessment of each of our clients, and we want to understand their needs for financial services, and to provide them quite tailored services for them, which somehow also guarantees a very good quality of our loan portfolio. So our approach to our colleagues, it's very specific as well. We want and we aim to share ethical and corporate values with our colleagues. We invest a lot in training and the recruitment of our colleagues. We have specially developed academies where our colleagues improve and increase their professionalism in order to provide later on very qualitative and competent services to our clients. So now when it comes to reporting, we do a report of our impact. As I already mentioned, we have claimed that our activity has positive impact on the societies and economies. So we already published 3 times, starting from 2017, impact report, which is quite complex and comprehensive report, elaborated in line with global reporting initiatives and standards. And I can invite you to read and to download the report, which is published recently, the report of 2019. So in this report, you can understand all main criteria and which I just described, which is relevant and important for ProCredit Bank Georgia, and in general for ProCredit Group. So when it comes to our green approach and our environmental management system, we differentiate direct and indirect impact management. Under direct impact management, we consider our internal consumption of energy and resources, and we strive to permanently decrease our consumption and to do investment in order to minimize negative environmental impact. So in parallel, we'll do very intensive training regarding environmental topics as well, together with our colleagues. And what is new in our approach is actually greening our suppliers as well, because we understood that to be green and to transfer this kind of message to our clients is not enough, and it's more essential and important to actually start and aim to green our suppliers. When it comes to indirect impact management, this is even more important for us, because the impact which our clients can have on environment, on society, can be way higher compared to us. So there we are very critical. So when we select clients, when we start cooperation with them, we start with the exclusion list, which is published for many years already in our website, and we don't tolerate. So if activity of the client in environmental, in social aspects harm the environment or society, then we don't start cooperation with such kind of clients. Another layer, another step for screening is to understand what is environmental impact, negative impact of clients, and there again we differentiate high, medium, and low risk, and we do later on assessment accordingly. Green finance is our third pillar, and we introduced our green methodology and green lending from 2012, where we actually differentiated new business line to support green investments of our clients. And you see on the chart, starting from 2015, our share of green loan portfolio increased, and currently it stands at the level of 16%. But we aim to further increase this year, and our midterm ambition is to reach 20% but meanwhile to maintain very high quality of our green loan portfolio. When it comes to green finance, our clients are mostly investing in energy efficiency and resource efficiency measures. So biggest part of our portfolio, 84%, comes from these kind of measures and investments. Certification was mentioned before, and I would say that our international environmental management system is certified under ISO 40001. Starting 2016, we have somehow international recognition that the system, the measures, and which we implemented for many years already, has international recognition, and we review our certification quite often. So every 3 year certification is supposed to be reviewed, but every year we also host auditor from the company, which gives us a recommendation how to improve further and in which direction the company needs to invest in order to become more credible when it comes to environmental management. Another certification which we are in process to get, again, we also had difficulties to do remote audits because we decided last year to receive a green certificate for our head office. And we started this process, but then we have these problems with COVID situation, but we are successful to went through a remote audit, and we are waiting for the final opinion from the auditor, which will give us guarantee and insurance that our head office, which is quite nice building in the city, is certified under Green Certificate Edge. So when we do evaluate and assess activity of the bank, we do reference to Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations, and every year when we publish our reports, we actually disclose and describe in very detail in which goals we are met in this specific year. So out of 17, we as a bank, we chose 8 most relevant SDGs, and there again, we aim to contribute the most to address the challenges set by sustainable development, which is defined by the United Nations. Meliora competition was mentioned previously, and last year we as a bank, we participated in this event, which was organized by European Union, and we are proud that we actually got the Grand Prix as a responsible large company, and the competition was quite tough. We were assessed by 4 main criteria. It was environmental responsibility, responsibility towards employees, market responsibility in the marketplace, and supporting communities. And in this competition, we got the Grand Prix as responsible company. So I want to share with you some very specific examples which supported us to improve our environmental performance. And the recent project which we did this year in June was installation of PV modules, photovoltaic system on the roof of our head office, which you see on the picture. We covered part of the roof of head office with these modules, and we are already generating electricity from this plant. Here you have figures how many 44,000 kilowatt hours we generated for last 3 months, and we aim to substitute up to 50% of internal consumption of electricity from this plant, which is quite small, but we actually wanted to set example for the market how green responsible company should behave and why we need to invest in green technologies. Another project which is ongoing for many years already, but we do it permanently, is upgrading our car fleet. And when we are buying new car and vehicle, we buy only electric. I mean, fully electric cars. Currently, 73% of our car fleet consists of hybrid and electric cars, but even more important is the fact that we have already 10 units of fully electric vehicles, and every year we are buying 2-3 new ones in order to reach our goal to have in nearest future 100% green parking, meaning electric vehicles only. Here you have figures. Our usage of electric vehicles is increasing every year, since the cars which are available in the market and which we purchase every year can drive after one charge more and more kilometers. My last slide is related to our clients, who they are and why they believe that we are the right bank for them. Last year we did our we had our 20 years anniversary, and we asked our clients why they want to stay with us, how they consider environmental management and responsible development trend as a key in their success as well. And we have few quotes from them. Client investing in energy efficiency technologies, they believe that this kind of investment actually increases competitiveness of their product in the market, and they become more developed in nearest future. Our clients also share with us social related issues, and another client actually from the income which he can receive from solar panels, he can invest in the projects which can support socially vulnerable children. And we also have in our green loan portfolio, and we appreciate cooperation with clients importing and making available in the local markets green technologies, renewable energy equipment, which can be imported and later on can support development and investment in different green measures. That was very brief about ProCredit Bank Georgia, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Ketevan. We already have a question to you. What are the main challenges to implement ESG policies of the group, specifically for the Georgian financial market?
I can say that it's challenging, because we started this process for many years already, and since we are doing it starting from 2012, then it's somehow embedded in the institution. And yes, here and there it's difficult to discuss and to provide to discuss with clients what they need to improve, where they need to invest in order to minimize environmental and social impact. But I can say that it's challenging. We cooperate with clients who share our corporate values, our approach in environmental topics as well. I think that if you don't compromise, and if you explain to your clients why you are doing this, the very fact that this is in line of long-term development, it can be bank or private sector or company, then I don't think it will be a challenging process.
Thank you for answering the question. We have a few more questions in our chat. The next question is also to you, Ketevan, and a little bit to Ioseb. What kind of green materials are mainly imported in Georgia and or have to be imported in Georgia in order to let the sustainable projects be materialized?
Most of the products which can be used either in energy efficiency or in renewable energy projects are imported in Georgia. So this is the answer. Everything more or less is imported, and the material which is supposed to be imported for energy efficiency, if it's imported from European countries, then there is high probability of quality and efficiency. But if that answers the question, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I absolutely agree with Katie, but I would wish to have more green suppliers in terms of solar panels, because still per square meter prices are quite high, per kilowatt, let's say, after the implementation. Probably we should create a more competitive market segment for this. And in rest, yeah, resource efficiency in terms of waste management and recycling technology, it would be also nice to have more suppliers. Of course, there are possibility to find suppliers and technology, let's say technical experts as well, but to have more, it will create, let's say, more flexible market sector for clients to have more competitive price generally.
Mm-hmm. Actually, there is one question which is kind of related to solar energy. Well, which activities are more popular in the Georgia solar energy side or hydropower alternatives?
Hydro is more developed currently at the country. Currently, almost 80% of the electricity generated in the country comes from hydropower, but there are limitations and negative environmental impact caused by these technologies. That's why we as a bank, we aim to support development of solar energy use. That was the aim of the project which we implemented internally, and we showed to the market that this kind of investment makes sense and it's the investment of the future.
Thank you. There is also one related question to Ioseb. You mentioned women in business. How exactly you related to sustainable finance, and can you give some examples how you support women in business?
Thank you. Actually, what I presented, it was mainly our portfolio, which is consists of mainly with let's say specifically utilized funds from IFIs. So actually it was the specifically dedicated funds from EBRD to support integration of women in the business, let's say. And what examples I would bring that the women are running the business. We do support if the shareholders or owners are more than like 50% are women, or the like to encourage them to be more active and something like that. But it was again specifically utilized fund from IFI.
Thank you. One question more to everyone. What is your expectation about local green and social bond market after the issuance of first green Euro bonds? Do you expect more local green bond or social bond issuances?
Response from my side is that we, on a group level, we already issued green bonds, which we have sold in Germany. And if it happens, it will happen group-wide. So we as a bank, we won't do this activity separately. But we have it, this experience on the group level.
So we really hope that as capital market develops and awareness regarding green bonds increases in Georgia, we will see more issuance of green and social bonds, especially in local market. And as from a regulatory perspective, we plan to issue green sustainable finance guidelines that will include all the definitions of green, social, and sustainable bonds. As for now, as I mentioned during my presentation, we have translated ICMI green, social, and sustainable bond principles that all financial and non-financial institutions can use as a reference to issue green bonds. So we think that as the market develops, we will see more issuance of green bonds.
From our side, we also hope so. And as a service provider, we would be happy to support this. There is also a question to the banking sector representatives. What is the need and access of banks to concessional finance for green projects?
I didn't understand the question.
I think the person is relating to the private-public partnerships in the field of green finance.
I can say that when we acquire a client, when we check investment and we do a financial assessment of the project, we aim to invest in green measures, and we start communication, advising with our clients in order to seek and then later on finance green investments. So if we are eager to invest in green and green portfolio development, and if client is sharing this approach with us, then there is green light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, here just recent updates, what we provided out of our market research, what kind of results we have. That's mainly in agriculture sector. It's like a water efficiency system for sprinklers and more modernized system, and probably to support agriculture in terms of green technology. I would say also biofarming. It's like a in pipeline, and we see examples that farmers business sector is already thinking in bioproduction, let's say.
We have a few projects ongoing. For example, our special dedicated product is related to e-mobility, so electric cars. If clients are willing to invest in those kind of vehicles, we disperse loans with very preferable conditions. Again, we have a negotiation deal with providers, and this is somehow support and joint effort together with dealers to promote investment in electric vehicles, which is somehow supported by the state, Tbilisi municipality, for example, providing free tax, is a free parking for electric vehicles. Also, tax while importing is lower. So together with the state, not subsidies, but supportive mechanisms with dealers and from our side to have preferential conditions, we can jointly increase share of electric vehicles in total car fleet of the country, which is very amortized at the moment.
Thank you. So it's very interesting discussion. We didn't answer all questions. There are a few small one left, but still we are running already a little bit so late. And I would like to thank you all participants and thank you all listeners. From unanswered questions, there was very, very disputable question from Mikhail. I think your question refers more to credit ratings, and we welcome you to read our credit rating report. And on the business climate, you can send us your further questions and our team will try to help you. So thank you everyone, thank you to our speakers, and we hope to see you on our next webinars too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.